Okay, so what about the LinkedIn posts? You'll notice in week 1 or day 1, you'll have an assignment, which is get a LinkedIn account. You might already have one. If you don't already have one, you just click that link and then sign up for one, and then you want to connect with me. And so if you click on that link, it'll take you to my feed, and then you should be able to just click connect, and I'll accept it, and then we are connected. This is a professional networking platform if you are not familiar with LinkedIn. Eventually, you will be on the job market, and people will be looking for evidence of your professionalism online. And so that's partially why we do this project. So you are writing these articles as part of class, but you should title them and position them in terms of helping teachers or positioning yourself as a thought leader with technology, so that when you're on the job market, you'll be seen in a good favorable light in that sense. Okay, so you click on LinkedIn, get an account, or log into your existing account if you already have one. Then you connect with me. The next thing that you do is you write an article. So you click on write an article, and then you're going to add image here, images in the body of your text as well. You'll have a headline, and obviously you'll write your text. But what are we going to write about? That's what we need to figure out next. Okay, so initially, you're going to have one article that might be about getting out of your comfort zone. You might have another one that's sort of about your experience with learning in, online when everything went distance. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you are doing a LinkedIn post that's about your content area. So you'll click on the technology portfolio, and this will give you an idea as to what you might do. Okay, as soon as it loads. Okay, so section 3, these are about discipline-specific or content area technologies. So someday you will be a teacher. You will be using technology sometimes to support student learning. Or you will be a speech path, and you will be using technologies to support client development. Okay, so you don't have to pick these technologies, but these are example, and these are possibilities. Let's say that you are a science teacher and you are interested in using a simulation with your students. So you would not review this entire website. You would specifically, and look, you could be a math teacher and use this as well. Okay, you're specifically evaluating a particular use. So if you are interested in balloons and buoyancy, so if you are teaching about buoyancy, then that is what you should talk about in your article. So you interact with this simulation as soon as it loads. Get a sandwich maybe, bowl of cereal, nice salad. Maybe order a burger. Go pick the burger up. Okay, so then you start, let's see, pump the handle. I'm pumping the handle. Light species or heavy species, light species. I can add heat control, so let's add some heat. Come on. And gravity, we could increase gravity and add more heat. There we go. And we could pump this some more, add some more pressure. We want to keep the volume constant. We could do that. Okay, so we're getting some readings and we're noticing some things that are happening within this area. Okay, so you are figuring out how you're teaching buoyancy. You notice there's some extra tabs up here. You could change this from hot air balloon to helium balloon, rigid hollow sphere. So you have lots of different things. You are going to experience this first. Then you're going to ask yourself, how would I use this to teach buoyancy with my students? And you have to pick the grade. So maybe this is 8th grade. You look through the standards to find out, okay, they do buoyancy in 8th grade. And so I would use this with them. And then you come back here and there are different evaluation options. So how to evaluate a technology for use in classrooms. Okay, here's a link. You could read that, probably should. Then you have revised Bloom's taxonomy. You have a tech evaluation guide. So if you pick the evaluation guide, it's going to download and open. And then you fill in, now do you need to do your name and the date? Maybe not. But you put in the app, maybe what it costs, and then what content area and what specific learning they did. And then you can go through and you can fill out how it did. You're evaluating it. Maybe this one isn't applicable. And then once you finish filling this out, you can shrink this down a little bit. And then you can take a snapshot of it and capture it. Okay. And then you can add this to your, I'm going to close this out. No, I don't want to save it. You can add this to your LinkedIn post up here. So what was this one called? Balloons and Buoyancy. It's TEAC. Come on, eat some more of that sandwich. Okay. So then over here, you don't want to write Teach 259 Article 5, because nobody cares about that outside of me and you probably. You care deeply. But outside of that, and when you're in the job market, you're going to want to write something like simulating buoyancy in 7th grade science. Okay? With a PHET sim. Okay? So for this image, so then you're going to write about, you know, what is the app, who are the learners, what they did. So up here at the top, you might have like a screenshot of this initially, and then as you're using it and things are happening, so come on. Very laggy. Okay, so then as you're using this, you can take another screenshot and you can add that back into your LinkedIn post. So you're describing what you did as a student, what you would have your students do. And then eventually you get down to a point where you're adding in an image. So that might be where you add in the image that you grabbed. Drop an image in. So you might have to save the image that you copied to your clipboard and then drop it in from your computer. Okay, so this should be 300 words long. It should look like an article that's reviewing a piece of software for a particular task. Okay, don't review PHET simulations for all of science. We don't know. They could be terrible and good at the same time. You just want to review one particular one. Same with speech path, same with other subjects. We could do this instead of for science. We could, so if you were a history teacher or wanted to think about history, you might choose histography. Okay, so these are all kinds of stories on Wikipedia. They're put on a timeline, stretching back, so that's 1600. Here's way back. Anyways, so you go to a span and it says, here are the things you can do. Now, everybody does wars, right? We've all had that history teacher who wanted to teach about the Civil War or World War II, and the whole class was that you might want to do something more than that. So let's say we click on women's rights, and let's go forward a little bit. Okay, so then you have different things. So you'd figure out, oh, how would I use this with my students? Maybe they would have to use this to get a sense of how things progressed, and they would explore this. You can also you might want to juxtapose literature and women's rights so that you've got two different ones that are selected. Okay, so here we have women's rights, and then on the bottom, we have what's being written at that same time. So you can sort of, you might be able to gain insights from this, or you might have your students working to gain insights from this. But you would take screenshots of this and explain what you would have them do, what state standards make sense. And again, you could use Kathy Schrock's evaluation guide and then save it and drop in your screenshot of it into your article. You could also use the revised Blooms and talk about what students would be doing as they use this. There's also a technology readiness index that you could think about. And so you are basically creating a LinkedIn post that reviews and evaluates a piece of technology for learning or for speech path development. Okay, once you're finished, you publish it, and then you grab the shareable link, not that thing, and not this, but you grab the shareable link, and then that's what you upload to Canvas to turn it in.